meeting will now come to order. Please stand for the playing of the national anthem. Councilmember White should please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening, Council is grateful to have Pastor Samuel Lumson from the Church of Pentecost to pray with us. Welcome to Council, Pastor.
Thank you for the opportunity to pray with you today. Shall we pray? Eternal God, gracious Father, we are grateful unto you for the gift of life and for the time allocated for us to live in today. We bless your holy name for the opportunity to serve the people in the Columbus area. As we are here and gathered today, we lift forth our voices unto you in prayer to grant us wisdom in our decision making. We pray for clarity in our discussions. We lift forth our hearts unto you for compassion in our leadership. Please do help us as we pursue justice, as we seek for peace and uplift the voices of the people we serve. In here today we pray that you will strengthen our commitment to equity, to unity, and to the common good. Father, we pray that in our gathering today, what we do will bring honor to your name and benefit to the people we serve. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bankston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden. Any person who takes any action to obstruct or interfere with the conduct of tonight's meeting may be charged with disturbing a lawful meeting pursuant to Columbus City Code 2317.12. Any person who enters those areas of City Council chambers reserved for city officials or invited guests may be charged with criminal trespass pursuant to Columbus City Code 2311.21.
Can I get a motion to dispense with the reading of the journal? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bankston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Are there any additions or corrections to the journal? Hearing none, the journal is approved. This week's communications received by the City Clerk's office are listed on the agenda and will be published in the City Bulletin. Are there any other communication to be read into the record?
Not at this time.
We will go around the dais for updates, resolutions, and announcements from my colleagues, starting with Councilmember Bankston. Councilmember Barosa de Padilla.
Thank you, Council President. This evening I have three very important announcements. First, today is the last day to register to vote for the May primary. Yes, there is a primary in May, and it is not too late to participate. So early voting actually begins tomorrow. So folks can visit voteohio.gov today to make sure that all of your information is up to date. The Board of Elections is also open until 9 p.m. if you want to go old school. But please, either way you choose to go, please go and make sure that you're registered to vote for the primary. And secondly, I can think of no better way to spend your birthday than in the people's house, doing the work of the people. So if you will all join me in wishing a happy birthday to Council President, I hope it was a good one, sir. And lastly, on the consent agenda, I am so incredibly proud and deeply excited to share the appointments to our newly established Commission on Immigrant and Refugee Affairs. When I took office in 2022, one of my first priorities was to listen. As the proud daughter of refugees, I knew how important it was to hear directly from our immigrant and refugee communities, not just about the challenges they face, but also the opportunities and hopes that they carry with them. And that's why I funded an initiative that brought community voices to the forefront through a series of town halls and listening sessions. We affectionately named this project Immigrants Make Columbus. Led by Dr. Arati Maleku and her team, the goal was to deeply understand the lived experiences of our immigrant and refugee communities, particularly their sense of belonging, meaning how welcomed, included, and represented they feel in our city. One of the key recommendations from this research was clear. Columbus needed a commission on immigrant and refugee affairs, a space where immigrant voices wouldn't just be heard, but be centered. In September 2024, we held a public hearing to share the findings of this work. And just a few months later in November, this council formally adopted the city code to create this commission. Why is it so important? Because immigrants and refugees are not just part of our story, they are the drivers of our future. They bring cultural richness, fuel our economy, and contribute their talents across every sector: small businesses, food, healthcare, education, music, the arts, and so much more. In the next 2 decades, we expect 2 million more people in our region, and immigration is the single largest factor driving that growth. Between 2014 and 2019 alone, our population grew by 6.4%, with immigrants accounting for over a quarter of that growth. But growth is only sustainable when it is inclusive. Many immigrants and refugees still face systemic barriers in accessing services, participating in civic life, and navigating unfamiliar systems. This commission will help bridge that gap. It will also serve as a voice to this council, to our city departments, to the city as a whole, offering insights, policy recommendations, and most importantly, giving all of us a direct line to the communities that they serve and represent. This is about making sure that everyone has the chance to thrive and that our policies reflect the full diversity of our city. We are proud to partner with the Department of Neighborhoods on this initiative. So I'd like to give just a second. Oh, is she not here yet, Director Douglas? Well, hopefully if she comes in after, we'll make sure that we give her a second. But I want to make sure that there she is, that I wanted to give a shout out to our partner in good, Director Douglas. Thank you for all of your help. Thank you for being a partner in this work. And at this time, I'd like to invite all of our soon to be appointed in just a second, officially commissioners to come down to the podium. Come on down, don't be shy. And on behalf of the commission, I would like to welcome our newly appointed commission chair, Dr. Barth Shepkan, to share a few words. The floor is yours, Dr. Shepkan.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It is a profound honor to stand before you today as the newly appointed chair of the City of Columbus Commission on Immigrant and Refugee Affairs. I want to begin by thanking Council Member Lourdes Barroso de Padilla and the entire City Council for their trust and support. Your commitment to inclusion and equity is not only commendable, it is very essential. As someone who migrated to the United States about 2 decades ago with hope, purpose, and a deep desire to serve, this work is personal to me. I come to this role not only as a professional and a public servant, but as someone who has navigated the realities of starting over, learning new systems, embracing new cultures, and building community from the ground up. I also come with deep appreciation for the strength, resilience, and ingenuity of immigrants and refugees, who every day contribute to the social, cultural, and economic vitality of this city. In Ohio, immigrants represent over 17% of entrepreneurs and contribute billions annually in taxes and spending power. But more than that, they bring vision, work ethic, and an unwavering belief in the future. I've seen this potential firsthand through my work organizing the Columbus African Festival. It is more than an event. It is a living celebration of culture, entrepreneurship, and unity. It brings thousands of people together each year to witness the richness of our diversity and the power of shared community. This commission exists to ensure that those who have been on the margins are not just included, but empowered to shape the policies that affect their lives. Our goal is clear: to help build a Columbus where every resident, regardless of where they were born, has the opportunity to thrive. Tonight, I am proud to welcome our new commission members, and at this point, I will invite each of them to briefly introduce themselves and their country of birth. I will start with the the vice chair.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fernanda Diaz-Basteris. I am from the Mexican Caribbean, the Yucatan Peninsula.
Hello, everyone. My name is Naima Ilmi, and I am representing the Somali community.
Hey everyone, my name is Tasha Lomo and I am a first-generation Ghanaian American.
Hello everyone, my name is Kamran Sayed Arif. I go by Cameron and I'm a Pakistani American.
Hello everyone, my name is Alexander Sumo. I'm from Liberia, West Africa. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Myung Sim. My nickname is Daniel, and I represent Korean American community. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Abu Rashid, and I'm Palestinian.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shavar Ali, and I'm originally from Pakistan.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bashir Ahmed. I was born in Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm representing the Somali Bantu community.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nadia Jean-Jacques, Haitian American, representing Haitian community.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Cassandra Aguirre Ramirez. I'm a first-generation Mexican American, and I'm representing Mexico.
Hello, my name is Aditi Jindal, and I'm a proud daughter and granddaughter of Indian immigrants.
This commission represents people from nearly 20 countries and more than 15 languages. Finally, I will say, together, let us reimagine what a truly inclusive city can be and commit ourselves to the work of justice, compassion, and belonging. Thank you.
Commissioners, don't leave for just a second. So first of all, can we give them all a big round of applause? I also want to thank all of their friends, family, community members that came to support them today. Thank you. They will certainly need the support, I think, especially as we start to combat, both national rhetoric, some of the challenges that folks are facing from the different communities that we named today. It is never an easy time to serve. It is certainly not an easy time now, and I want to thank all of you for volunteering and raising your hand to say yes, and I want to thank all of your families and your communities that will support you in this endeavor, because you will certainly need them at some point. But I just want to open it up to my colleagues if there's any comments, if there's anything my colleagues would like to say. Yes, Councilmember Bankston.
I just want to echo what you said, Councilmember, and just thank you all for your service. And I am beaming up here because as a husband to a first-generation Ghanaian, I'm proud to see this. I have two young boys who I can say are 50% Ghanaian, and so to see that representation, it matters. And I just want to keep you all encouraged, because there are going to be times in this work, particularly of commissions like this, where there's going to be long days of discussion. And sometimes you're going to feel as if you're not making progress. Know that by simply being at a table, by keeping the conversation going, you are making progress. So do not get discouraged in those moments. There are going to be times where there's recommendations that you have to push that may take a while to come to fruition, but keep pushing. You are the best of us. That is how progress is made. And so it is a journey. It is not a destination. And even once we get some wins under our belts, we have to keep going. And so you all, I want to thank you for your work. You are not a clique. You are a catalyst, the beginning of something that will move this city to the next level. And so I'm so excited for what you all will tackle. And I know that one of the most critical things that you will tackle, especially for those that are in the African diaspora, is who has the best jollof rice. And we know the answer to this. It is from Ghana, but we will have this competition. No, but in all seriousness, thank you in advance for all the work that you all will do. It does not fall on deaf ears here at this council, and I'm very appreciative for the work that you will endeavor in. So thank you.
Councilmember Freeman.
I would like to thank my colleague, Councilmember Barosa de Padilla, for her leadership in helping to create this. It's very important for the city of Columbus and this whole community to have you representing the people from around the world. I am very honored to be the keynote speaker tomorrow at the naturalization ceremony for Judge Ed Sargas, and know the importance of these ceremonies that we have in such uncertain times in this country. And as I reflect on what that means for the people that are here and that are going to go through this tomorrow, I know that this community is a welcoming one, and it always will be. And so no matter what happens at the national level, we know that people are welcome here from all across the world, and we will fight every single day to ensure that that is the reality. So thank you for stepping up. It's a big job, and we're excited to have you, but look forward to the work ahead, and thank you for all of your commitments.
Councilmember.
I was lucky to be able to meet many of you when you arrived. I am so excited about this commission and just the opportunity for so many cultures to come together and create who you are going to be as a commission. So often when commissions are formed, people are given very narrow guardrails as to what you can do, but you get to create what you're going to become, and that's very exciting. And all of you know that when you have questions about things and you say, we're all here for you. You can go ahead and contact these different council members who have different specialties, and we're all available to help you out and to help this commission succeed at creating something really wonderful that is going to be impactful for our community. So thank you so much for stepping up.
Councilmember, it's good to hear your voice again. Truly. Council President, you're good? Okay. Well, I will end as I started, is with gratitude. I'm so excited. It was a long journey to get here, y'all, but I believe that everything happens in due time and when it's supposed to happen, and there is no greater time that we've needed you all here. So I'm excited to get to work. So everyone stay tuned. There are great things to come, and thank you all for being here again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you wanted to say something. And that is all for me, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember, and thank you for your leadership. Please don't take my lack of remarks. I just didn't want to be duplicative. I think that it is really important to acknowledge how much work that you put into this over a 2-year period, and how important and how it's almost fate that it would come about in this moment right now. So just thank you. Councilmember Beatty.
Nothing this evening.
Councilmember Deacar.
I'm so excited to be able to speak
Yes.
at the
Welcome
meeting
back.
after having laryngitis for a month. A couple of quick announcements. Firstly, our Recreation Park Department's conservation team will soon be utilizing a fun technique to help with invasive species control, wildfire fuel reduction, and ecological restoration. We're bringing in goats. Goat grazing will be introduced at Antrim Park, and the department is kicking off this initiative with a fun Meet the Goats free community event on April 18th from 10 till noon. So thank you to the department for your continued ingenuity in tackling conservation efforts, as well as for providing an exciting way for community members to spend a Friday morning. This former 4-H kid is looking forward to petting some goats. Additionally, I am proud to announce again sponsoring the Parkinson's Foundation Moving Day Columbus event this year. This event brings together our community every year to honor those affected by Parkinson's, raise awareness, and support the critical work of the Parkinson's Foundation. Movement is shown to help manage symptoms of Parkinson's. So at the event, those living with Parkinson's, as well as their caregivers, family, and friends, are invited to participate in multiple exercise demos throughout the day, culminating in our signature 1-mile walk around the park. As the wife of someone living with Parkinson's, this event and this cause is close to my heart, and so I hope you will consider joining me at Wolf Park on April 26th from 9 a.m. to noon. You can register by yourself, or you can register a team for the walk, and if you can walk for free, but you can also encourage to fundraise, and all of that information is available at movingdaycolumbus.org, or you can scan the QR code on the screen and join my group that will be walking. So that's all for me, Council President. Thank you and happy birthday.
Thank you so much, Councilmember. Pres Pro Tem.
Thank you, Council President. It's good to hear Councilmember Deacar's voice back up here. So welcome back fully to the dais. Did have one announcement tonight. So the Council President and I will be hosting a public hearing on the proposed update to zoning maps. This is an update to the phase-in initiative to modernize our zoning code. That update is focused on State Route 161 in the Northland area. That hearing will take place next Monday here in Council Chambers at 5:30. Residents can review the 165 parcels that are included in this update at columbus.gov/zoning update. You can submit comments directly through that portal and will be reviewed within that 60-day public notice period that we started a number of weeks ago, which will end on May 10th. This will be the first of 2 hearings that will be focused on this update, particularly for that code map section and potential additional updates to the code itself. Residents can join here at City Hall or can certainly tune in online at the city's YouTube or Facebook pages. And again, that public hearing is going to be at Monday, Monday, April 14th from starting at 5:30. Thank you, Council President. I'll see you then.
Thank you, Pres Pro Tem. Councilmember Green.
Thank you so much, Council President. I do have one resolution for presentation tonight, and as I announce, Resolution 0071X-2025, I'd like to invite Mallory Donaldson and her team from the Center for Healthy Families to the podium. Or any, oh, there we are. Okay, so Resolution 0071X-2025 to recognize April as National Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month, so as April, which is a time for us to come together and shine a light on an issue that impacts so many and far too many children and families, and to recommit ourselves to creating a community where every child feels safe, supported, and loved. Here in Columbus, we are fortunate to have incredible organizations doing hard, often unseen work, supporting families families and preventing harm before it happens. And I want to especially recognize the Center for Healthy Families for their dedication to helping young people and their families thrive. Their work focuses on addressing the root causes of instability like poverty, housing insecurity, education, workforce development, family stress, and provides compassionate, holistic support to help families build strong foundations. Prevention is powerful. And organizations like the Center for Healthy Families remind us that when we invest in families early, we strengthen our entire community. So we are honored to have the opportunity to use this not just to raise awareness, but also as a stepping stone to help us all take action to support programs and policies, and as well as the people who make a lasting difference in the lives of our children and families here in Columbus. Because I know, and I know all of my colleagues would agree, that every child deserves to grow up in a safe and nurturing environment. So we're committed to standing alongside organizations like the Center for Healthy Families to work together as we make that vision a reality. And at this point, I would love to turn the floor over to Mallory, and she can speak a little bit more about this month of awareness and the work that they do.
Thank you, and happy birthday, Council President Hardin. We are so grateful again to have the opportunity to come before Council and advocate on behalf of our most vulnerable citizens. We are not here to hear from me tonight. We are here to hear from the advocates. So I will allow members of the Center for Healthy Families, Black Girls and Young Women's Collective, alongside with Franklin County Children's Services, Malika, and Youth Advisory Board to come before us and tell us more about National Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month, and again, advocate for the most vulnerable citizens.
Good evening. We are members of the Center for Healthy Families, Black Girls and Young Women's Collective, here on behalf of the Center and the Franklin County Children's Services and Malika and the Youth Advisory Board program. We are here today to invite you to join us in observing and raising awareness about National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Before we go any further, we'd like to introduce ourselves, and I'll start. My name is Suzanne Lee, and I'm a freshman at Columbus State Community College.
Hello, my name is Dariana Stewart, and I'm a senior at Reynoldsburg High School.
Hi, my name is Kennedy Wells, and I'm a senior at Bishop Hartley High School.
Hi, my name is Benita Osei Tutu, and I'm a sophomore at Pickerington High School Central.
Hi, my name is Tatiana, and I am in 6th grade at Groveport Imagine.
Hi, my name is Brianne Smith. I'm a senior at Eastmoor Academy.
Recognized nationally since 1983, April is the National Child Abuse Prevention Month. During this time, organizations such as the Center and Franklin Children's Services lead efforts to combat and raise awareness about child abuse and its devastating impact in our community and beyond. Child abuse is defined as an action or failure to act by a parent, caregiver that causes harm or put children at risk. Child abuse can manifest in many forms, including neglect and endangerment, and include physical, emotional, or sexual abuse. It can occur in a child's home, school, or groups they interact with. Child abuse can manifest in many forms, including neglect and endangerment, and can include physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, and it can occur in a child's home. Child abuse affects more than 3 million children annually and causes the death of 3 children every day. Locally, this is an issue that impacts thousands of children and families. In 2023, Franklin County Children's Services received nearly 28,000 reports of child abuse. That's an average of 76 reports of child abuse to the Franklin County Child Abuse Hotline per day. Of the 28,000 reports, over half were concerning physical abuse, and 1 in 6 alleging sexual abuse, and 1 in 8 involving domestic violence in the home. When it comes to the topic of child abuse and neglect, it is also important to note that Black and brown children are disproportionately impacted, with many cases going underaddressed or overlooked. In 2021 alone, Franklin County Children's Services received more than 7,200 incidents of abuse and neglect concerning Black girls. These figures further highlight the importance of protecting Franklin County children and supporting the National Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Throughout April, the Center's Black Girls and Young Women's Collective, along with FCCS, Malika, and Youth Advisory Board program, will actively participate in City Council and County Commission meetings to advocate for child abuse prevention. So how can you and others in the room join us in this mission? Throughout April, the Center and FCCS are hosting a series of events to engage and educate the public on child abuse prevention.
Our first method of engaging the public is through advertisements. In partnership with our friends at Orange Barrel Media, kiosks in the Short North and downtown areas will display national child abuse prevention advertisements. If you see one of these ads, make sure to snap a picture, share it on social media, and tag the Center for Healthy Families.
On April 6th at 10 to 12, the center alongside volunteers and city leaders will create a display of blue pinwheels at Columbus City Hall, followed by a solidarity walk.
April 12th, actually not April 6th.
The color blue is inspired by Michael, a 3-year-old boy who tragically lost his life due to abuse, and represents hope and remembrance for all children affected by these issues. Throughout the week of April 7th, Columbus City Hall and other municipality partners will illuminate blue lights in support of National Child Abuse Prevention Month.
On Thursday, April 9th, we're encouraging everyone in this room and all Ohioans to wear blue to work, school, and community events in observation of National Children Abuse Prevention Month. Snap a selfie or take a photo of you, your family, and colleagues, and post to social media, tagging the Center for Healthy Families at Center for Healthy Families, and using the hashtag OhioWearsBlue2024. We also invite everyone here to join Franklin County Children's Services on April 9th for their annual Child Abuse Prevention Breakfast. Preventing and reporting child abuse is a collective responsibility. We believe all Central Ohio community members have an active role to play in ensuring children lead positive, safe, and thriving lives, and that their families and caregivers have the information and support they need to create safe spaces for their children. More than a color, this is a human issue and that impacts innocent lives each day. This month is about national action and using our power, our voices, and our networks to advocate for those who can't advocate for themselves.
Thank you so much for being here today. And I just want to, so I'm a social worker and I used to work as a child and family therapist. And I just really want to thank each and every one of you, especially our young people, for using your voices to raise awareness. We do a lot of awareness raising up here every week, but what I know to be true is that in this area, reducing the stigma, right, it helps people come forward. It helps empower people to know where to go. It helps give people the courage to speak up or to speak out if they see something or if they are experiencing something. And so you just never know, one kiosk in the Short North, I mean, that kiosk could would change someone's life. And I've seen small things happen like that in my own practice too. And so it really, really, just thank you. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing and the love and the passion that you're pouring into the community, especially for people who might be at a time in their lives that they need it the most. Did any of my colleagues want to say anything? Go ahead.
Thanks, Councilmember Green. I just wanted to say to our smart, strong, confident advocates who are here today, thank you. Thank you for lifting up your voices for the things that you care about. Thank you for advocating for other girls who look like you, who may not have this sort of platform. By you showing up here today, you set an example for other people and you make it easier sometimes for people to share their stories. Or you make it easier for people to see you and say, I can do that. Right? I can stand here in the People's House at this podium and talk about the things that I care about. And I hope that you know that you have an open invitation to this place at any time to talk to us about all the things that you care about, not just in this one week, not just for this one cause, but for everything that affects your lives. Because the more that we have a dialogue together, the more that we can make someone else's journey easier and safer, and we can take care of our most precious resource, which is all of you. Right? You are the future. You are leading now and you will lead into the future. And so I love when our young people come here to advocate for things. I love when our young people come here and lift up their voices. I hope that you continue to do this for other things that you care about. And I would just want to thank the Center for Healthy Families for continuing to advocate for our kids who can't always advocate for themselves, who put their trust in people like us who should care for them. And that sometimes they give them the ultimate betrayal. And so it's something that we have to talk about every day, and that it goes well beyond just a kiosk or a week or a pinwheel, but it is something that all of us should be thinking about every day. So thank you.
Seeing no other comments or questions, I move for adoption.
Second. Clerk, please call the row.
Bankston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Adopted. Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Remy.
Thank you very much, Council President. I'd like to thank everyone who came out on a wet Saturday this past weekend to support the 4th annual Cleaner Columbus Citywide Cleanup. We had a record number of registrants, but the rain kept some of them away. However, we still had 209 participants, which was a record, collecting trash, and on average, each of them picked up over 80 pounds apiece. Special thanks to David Brown and the Harmony Project for making this their signature volunteer event for the year. Their partnership has definitely been appreciated by me, and thank you to all the organizations and residents who joined us. I especially want to thank my staff, Avery, Cole, and all the council team that helped make Saturday possible, NBC4 for their partnership, and RA Alex and Keep Columbus Beautiful for all of the logistics. We're already looking forward to next year's, the 5th annual. So thank you very much, Council President. That is all I have.
And congratulations. I heard 16,000 pounds of waste was picked up. So thank you so much for your leadership. Councilmember White.
Thank you, Council President. One resolution tonight, and I want to invite Maggie Gichow, the Watershed Coordinator for the Friends of Olentangy Watershed, or FLOW, to come to the podium as I read this resolution. While she makes her way to the front, I'd like to introduce Resolution 74X-2025 to recognize and celebrate April as Native Plant Month in Columbus, Ohio. As a gardener and a believer of climate action, I understand how important native plants are to our ecosystem. They provide our pollinators with food and shelter and help hold back invasive species and beautify our landscape to make our city look even better than it already does. FLOW's mission is to keep the Olentangy River and its tributaries clean and safe through education, volunteer activities, and coordination with policymakers. FLOW has been a great partner of ours as we look to establish pollinator gardens in city code. And I want to encourage everyone to join us on April 30th at 3:30, where we will have the first hearing on that draft city code. But Maggie, can you tell us a little bit more about the work and how folks can connect with the organization?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Councilmember Weish, for the lovely introduction, and to the rest of the council for having me here today. I'm honored to be here accepting this resolution recognizing April as Native Plant Month in Ohio. FLOW currently has over 40 native pollinator gardens throughout our watershed and have more plans to plant more in this spring season. Native plants and trees are instrumental in helping reduce stormwater runoff and flooding in urban areas due to their deep roots, and also provide the proper habitat and nutrients for our pollinators to thrive. Not only are native plants great for our ecosystem, but they're also extremely resilient, holding up in adverse weather conditions and requiring little maintenance FLOW has and will continue to encourage the planting of native plants instead of turf grass wherever this is possible. FLOW has worked with a variety of community members and organizations to help plant and maintain our pollinator gardens, helping by providing the knowledge, skills, and tools to help these gardens get off the ground and continue to succeed. Through our work with community members and groups, handing out native seed packets at community events, and conversations with individuals, we will continue to work on educating our community on the importance of native plants and trees for the health of ourselves, our pollinators, and our watershed. If you all would like to get involved with Flow, we are completely or almost completely volunteer-run organization. So we have many, many events in this crazy springtime of April and May. We'll have lots of events that are listed on our calendar and on our website, flowohio.org. So I highly recommend you to check that out, see what we have going on, and come out to one of our events and get your hands a little dirty. Once again, y'all, thank you for having me here today and encouraging our community to plant native plants and trees.
Thank you, Maggie. Earth Month is a great time to make these sustainable changes as the weather gets nicer. I encourage everyone to check out Flow's website for events across April and May, as Maggie mentioned, where you can get involved and help plant native plants. Let me stop there, see if any questions or comments from my colleagues. Seeing none, I move for adoption.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Passed. Adopted. Thank you, Councilmember Weiss. I have one announcement, and as I read Resolution 0072X-2025, I will invite the lovely ladies, women of Delta Sigma Theta to come forward. Ms. Sally Gibson. I'm really excited about this resolution. So I too, a member of the Divine Nine, a group of organizations whose mission is to provide service and advocacy for our community. This event that the Delta Sigma Theta Columbus and Alumni of Columbus chapter is hosting is literally what we were founded to do, which is take care of our communities. And so just wanted to put a focus on this. I'm also really excited about this specific event for seniors because it will take place at our new Fran Ryan Center. And I've heard already that there are so many folks signed up, and the work that is put into this, literally busing our seniors in to be a part of this program. We are so excited to support, to recognize, to lift up the work of this chapter. And with that, I'll turn it over.
Thank you. On behalf of our chapter president, Tamara Staley, I bring you warm greetings from the Columbus Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. My name is Dr. Leanne Harris, and I'm the first vice president of the chapter. We extend our sincere thanks to you, President Harden, and the Columbus City Council for placing us on tonight's agenda and for recognizing the impact, work, and that we continue to do within this community. I'd like to take a moment to highlight our remarkable Delta Deers, our dedicated, energetic, active, respected sorors, who are 62 years of age and older. These women exemplify the rich legacy and unwavering commitment to service that defines our illustrious sisterhood. This is Minority Health Month, and our Deers are proudly hosting a senior health fair on April 15th, an event dedicated to supporting the wellness and vitality of our senior population. We thank you for your support of this important initiative. As a professional in the healthcare field, a registered nurse, and the Chief Operating Officer at Grant Medical Center, I understand deeply the value and importance of caring for our seniors. We are proud to stand in service of this population and grateful for our opportunity to do so with your support. Thank you again for your continued partnership.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, President.
Oh, gosh.
In addition, we have collaborating the Franklin County Department of Aging, and we have with us Director Shonda Wingo.
Good evening. I come bearing gifts as well. I am, in my day job, I am the Franklin County Director of the Office on Aging.
No.
I serve at the pleasure of the Board of Commissioners, President Erica Carley, Kevin Boyce, and John O'Grady. Before me, I have a resolution on their behalf. They send their warm regards. But being the director of the Franklin County Office on Aging and a member of Delta Sigma Theta, this is an amazing day for us. So Franklin County is committed to promoting equitable access to health and wellness for its aging population, recognizing that senior citizens and their caregivers are vital members of our community whose health, dignity, and independence must be protected through culturally sensitive, responsible, community-driven initiatives that empower and inform. And our Delta Deers have stepped up to make sure that our Franklin County residents 60 years or older have access to just that. And so thank you for this opportunity. We look forward to seeing you on the 15th, and thanks again.
Goes to the president. They have a proclamation for you.
Oh, thank
They
you.
have a proclamation for you, President Harden.
Oh, wow.
From the commissioners. We do it up. I'm Sally Gibson, president of Women to Women, and we're the third component in this pyramid. And we are happy, my esteemed city council members, to be working with you. Thank you for honoring the Women to Women organization. We are deeply grateful for the recognition of our contributions through the countywide senior health fair, which supports our aging neighbors as they face devastating challenges and uncertainty about tomorrow. Our dedication to these vulnerable community members is an integral part to the identity at Women to Women. Our commitment has earned national recognition, including accolades and awards from President Obama and Congress for our service, philanthropy efforts, and working in combating human trafficking and supporting citizen reentry. This recognition from the Columbus City Council, and especially the support from President Harden, is profoundly meaningful to us. President Harden's hard work and leadership have been instrumental in bringing this vision to life, helping us to serve our community effectively. Accepting this proclamation, we are reminded of our enduring role as a compass in our community, providing direction, hope, and leadership that our citizens can depend on. It reaffirms our work and underscores the significant impact of collaboration and community leadership. Thank you, council members, and many of you I've had the pleasure, Councilman Bankston, Councilwoman Lourdes, I've had the pleasure of just working and seeing you at work as well, and I just admire you so much for being in the trenches with us, fighting with us, for your strength and for your trust and support. Your recognition not only celebrates our past achievements, but also fuels Women to Women's commitment to continue serving, leading, and inspiring. We remain dedicated and steadfast in ensuring that our collective efforts have a lasting impact on this community. And this just brings tears to my heart because many years ago when I came here for college, I saw older people dumpster diving and coming up for food. And just recently, I saw the same thing occurring. So this access to letting them know that there's help out there and that we have resources will help enable and continue to give them the dignity of life that they so deserve. So we thank you for partnering, and partnering. God bless you. And I did not want to do a Cory Booker, so I wrote it down.
No. With that, if there are no questions or comments, I move for passage. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Are there any comments by our other elected officials' offices? Seeing none, are there any requests by members of council for the removal of an ordinance or resolution from consent action of the portion of the agenda? Hearing none, may we now have a motion to waive reading of the titles of 30A legislation on tonight's agenda? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Will the clerk now read into the record the ordinance number of 30A legislation on tonight's agenda?
In Finance and Governance, we have Ordinance 686-2025, Workforce Education and Labor Committee, Ordinance 571-2025, Health, Human Services and Equity Committee, we have Ordinance 745-2025, Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee, we have Ordinance 796-2025, and Public Utilities and Sustainability Committee, we have Ordinance 110, 306, 354, 712, 758, 768, 791, and 798-2025. Housing, Homelessness, and Building Committee, Ordinances 819, 832, and 861-2025.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have no speakers on the first reading portion of the agenda. The following ordinances appear on our agenda as consent actions. Will the clerk now read those into the record?
Resolutions of expression 75X, 76X, 77X, 78X, 79X-2020, 73X-2025. In Finance and Governance Committee, we have Ordinance 632, 702, 792, 846-2025. Economic Development and Small and Minority Business, Ordinance 816 and 841-2025. Public Service and Transportation Committee, we have Ordinance 665, 759, 790, and 834-2025. Neighborhoods, Recreation, and Parks Committee, Ordinance 668, 669, and 677-2025. Workforce, Education, and Labor Committee, Ordinance 821-2025. Health, Human Services, and Equity Committee, Ordinance 813-2025. Public Utilities and Sustainability Committee, Ordinance 631, 633, 634, 682, and 739-2025. Housing, Homelessness, and Building Committee, we have Ordinance 787, 860, and 881-2025. And Rules and Policy Committee, we have appointments from the mayor, A62, 63, 64, 67, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, and 82-2025.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We don't have any speakers on the consent portion of the agenda. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues on the consent portion of the agenda? Hearing none, may I have a motion for approval of these items? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
By voice, I apologize.
I'm sorry. Bangston? Yes. Barosa de Padilla? Yes. Beatty?
Yes, except for ordinance number 0669.
De Akauer?
Yes.
Dorance?
Yes.
Green? Yes. Remy? Yes. White? Yes. President Harden.
Yes, consent portion is carried with the noted exceptions. We'll now proceed with the second reading of 30-day postponed and emergency legislation. The first committee to come before council is the Economic Development and Small and Minority Business Committee, chaired by Councilmember Bangston. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, President Hart. Tonight in the Economic Development and Small Minority Business Committee, we have 5 ordinances. The first 4 I am really excited about. We have 2 enterprise zone agreements, 1 job creation tax incentive, and also a downtown office incentive. And the reason why I'm excited about these is that I think there's been recent news that we see about potential slowdowns in the economy nationally, as well as this unwritten competition between the city down south Cincinnati. But I think that tonight what you see with these 4 economic development agreements shows that folks are still betting on the Columbus economy. And we have major projects that are in the pipeline that are come online, later this year and next year. And I think, again, it shows the vitality of our economy. So really excited about the work that our economic development team has done to bring us these great projects. So first up, we have ordinance 0596-2025 to authorize the Director of the Department of Development to enter into an enterprise zone agreement with Jim Patson Developments, Inc., for abatement of 75% for a period of 10 consecutive years in consideration for the enterprise investing approximately $16,300,000 in real property improvements and the creation of 15 net new full-time permanent positions with an estimated annual payroll of approximately $624,000. This is a proactive industrial development which will be in partnership with the Department of Development and Jim Patson Developments for warehouse and office space. With this potential development, it is proactive development, so therefore there is not a tenant identified just yet, but what we have seen is that when these are completed, that they do not only fulfill the net full-time positions, but go above and beyond. Director Webster, Deputy Director Webster, is there anything that you want to add to this?
Councilmember Bankston, President Hardin, members of council, no, you said it all. What I will just say is that we're excited about opportunities like this where there is speculative development. That shows the confidence that the community, the development community has in our community with being able to build property and create jobs. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Seeing no questions or comments from my colleagues, I move for passage.
Please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Passed.
Next, we have ordinance 0647-2025 to authorize the Director of Department of Development to enter into an enterprise zone agreement with Jetway Flex LLC for a tax abatement of 75% for a period of 10 consecutive years in consideration of the enterprise's investing approximately $10,298,498 in real property improvements and the creation of 12 net new full-time permanent positions with an estimated annual payroll of approximately $600,000. Similar to the last piece of legislation, this is another proactive development in the logistics space, and so really looking forward to this investment. Any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Passed.
Next, we have ordinance 0710-2025 to authorize the Director of Department of Development to enter into a job creation tax credit agreement granting a tax credit of 60% for a term of up to 5 consecutive years with SafeLight Group, Inc., in consideration of the company's proposed total capital investment of $19,200,000 and the creation of 25 net new full-time permanent positions with an estimated annual payroll of approximately $1,040,000 and the retention of 329 full-time permanent positions with an associated estimated annual payroll of approximately $37,917,250. This is a job creation tax credit supporting SafeLight investment to update its office space. As part of this agreement, there will be 25 new jobs being created and again retaining over 300 jobs. What really is interesting about this particular piece is that SafeLight, that name I think that we all know and we see, is a large employer here in the city of Columbus, and they are in outdated space, and we're really looking to move. So we had the potential of potentially losing these jobs, maybe not to the region, but to the city of Columbus. And so coming up with a really innovative way to invest back into their property, but also maintain the employees and expand is a way that we were able to do that with this job creation tax credit. Deputy Director Webster, anything you want to add?
Councilmember Bankston, President Howard, and members of council, I appreciate your support of this ordinance. SafeLight Group has been an amazing community partner, and this is an opportunity to retain 329 jobs in our community, as well as keep them in office space that, quite frankly, would otherwise be considered antiquated. Their investments are going to bring this office space into a higher level of productive use and keep it as an asset to the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Director. Any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Passed.
Next, we have ordinance 0735-2025 to authorize Director of Department of Development to enter into a downtown office incentive agreement with WSA Studios for a term of up to 5 consecutive years in consideration of 20 net new full-time permanent positions with an estimated associated payroll of approximately $1,700,000 and the retention and relocation of 24 full-time permanent positions with an estimated associated annual payroll of approximately $2,074,876 as provided in Columbus City Council Resolution Number 0088X-2007, adopted June 4, 2007. This is a downtown incentive agreement. The purpose of this agreement is to retain jobs and to create new jobs here in downtown. This is a architecture firm that is currently in downtown, but looking to expand. Again, another one of those opportunities where they had the ability to move outside of the city, but working with our development team, we were able to retain those jobs, not only in the city, but in the core of the city in downtown, which is so critical for our revitalization efforts and making sure that we keep our office vacancy low. Deputy Director, anything you want to add to this ordinance?
Councilmember Bankston, President Harder, members of council, no, thank you. This is an incredible opportunity for a smaller company to provide much-needed professional services in the downtown. We're very excited about this investment and keeping them in downtown.
Thank you, Director. Seeing no questions or comments from my colleagues, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you for that. And just also wanted to note with those last 4 ordinances, of course, all of those jobs well above that $20 an hour wage threshold that this council set just a couple years ago. Next, we have ordinance 0752-2025 to authorize the Director of Development to enter into a grant agreement with the Columbus Downtown Development Corporation in an amount up to $1,750,000 for the purpose of implementing the 2022 Downtown Columbus Strategic Plan, which may include but is not limited to services focused on land use, retail opportunities, safety, and parking, to authorize the appropriation and expenditure of up to $1,750,000 from the Neighborhood Economic Development Fund and to advance funding per a predetermined schedule. This is another routine piece of legislation in partnership with our friends at Downtown Columbus, Inc., again, to implement the 2022 Downtown Strategic Plan. It explores expanding affordable housing opportunities, increasing office occupancy, reimagining key development sites, enhancing visitor experience and awareness, and cultivating connectivity between downtown and the adjacent areas. As you can see, a lot of that work being done to really reimagine what downtown looks like, to really truly become a 24/7 neighborhood. So really excited about the work that DCI has been doing and will continue to do with this support. Any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage by voice.
Clerk, please call the roll by voice.
Bangston,
Yes.
Barosa de Padilla,
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
De Akauer,
Yes.
Dorance,
Yes.
Green,
Abstain.
Remy, White, President Harden.
Yes, ordinance is passed.
Thank you, Council President. That's all I have in my committees this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next committee to come before council is the Public Service and Transportation Committee, chaired by Councilmember Barosa de Padilla. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. I have one ordinance this evening, 0797-2025, to authorize the Finance and Management Director to establish purchase orders and contracts with multiple vendors for the purchase of various traffic management control commodities for the Department of Public Service, to authorize the expenditure of up to $1,900,000 from the Streets Construction Maintenance and Repair Fund for the purchase of various traffic management control commodities, to authorize the expenditure of up to $300,000 from the Municipal Motor Vehicle Tax Fund for the purchase of various traffic management and control commodities, and to declare an emergency. The Department of Public Service utilizes pavement marking materials, sign manufacturing materials, school flashers, traffic signal commodities, and a variety of traffic management and control commodities throughout the city. These supplies and materials are necessary to ensure traffic safety throughout the city of Columbus. Do my colleagues have any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. That's all for me this evening, Council President.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next committee to come before council is the Neighborhoods, Recreation, and Parks Committee, chaired by Councilmember De Akauer. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to start by thanking my colleague, Councilmember White, for reading my legislation all last month when I had laryngitis, so thank you. I have two ordinances this evening. Ordinance 673-2025 to authorize the Director of Recreation Parks to modify an existing contract with Ironside Incorporated for the Whetstone Sports Field Improvements Project to authorize the appropriation of $1,500,000 within the Recreation and Parks Permanent Improvement Fund to authorize the transfer of $1,500,000 within the Recreation and Parks Permanent Improvement Fund to authorize the amendment of the 2024 capital improvements budget to authorize the expenditure of $1,500,000 from the Recreation Parks Improvement Fund and to declare an emergency. This modification is for an existing construction contract for project that will improve multiple amenities at Whetstone Park. Improvements include replacement of the open-air shelter, a new interactive playground, a new hammock grove, and drilling new well to help with irrigation of the sports field, which are also undergoing improvements slated to be finished this fall. The main reason for this contract modification relates to the park's pond. Last year, an invasive species of goby fish were discovered in the pond, requiring it to be drained. Once drained, it was discovered that the pond liner was cracked and could not maintain current capacity. Thus, a modification is needed to allow the contractor to replace this lining, reset the stone edging, and renovate the stream culvert for pond overflow. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 676-2025 to authorize the Director of Recreation and Parks to enter into contract with Dynamic Agility Sports, LLC, to provide instruction and management of the Carriage Place Community Center Dynamic Agility Sports Camps, to authorize the expenditure of $100,000 from the Recreation Parks Operating Fund, and to waive competitive bidding provisions of the Columbus City Code. Dynamic Agility Sports, or DAS, is a third-party organization that has been running multiple sports camps out of Carriage Place Rec Center for years now. Camps such as basketball, flag football, dodgeball, kickball, soccer, volleyball, street hockey, baseball, ultimate frisbee, wiffle ball, speed and agility, strength, and conditioning. These camps are offered on multiple weeks in full and half-day sessions, serving up an estimated 950 children during the summer camp session. DAS will provide all instructors for each camp and will abide by all CRPD rules, regulations, and processes. A bid waiver is requested because DAS has been contracting with the department to run these camps for many years and have proven to be an experienced, reliable, and qualified candidate that can provide a unique product in line with CRPD's expectations. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Thank you. That's all I have for my committee this evening.
The next committee to come before council is the Workforce, Education, and Labor Committee, chaired by Council President Pro Tem Dorance. President Pro Tem, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. Tonight we have ordinance 0804-2025 to authorize the Director of Department of Human Resources to enter a service contract with Indigo Co. LLC for design, print, and mail service contract with competitive bidding provisions of Columbus City Code to authorize the expenditure of up to $400,000 from the Employee Benefits Fund to pay for this contract and declare an emergency. This legislation authorizes the Department of Human Resources and a contract with Indigo for design, print, and mail service to the City of Columbus employees with important benefits and wellness documentation. The department requests to waive competitive bidding provisions as Indigo Co. LLC has institutional knowledge, experience, and permissions with the City of Columbus, United Healthcare data. Emergency action is requested so the company can receive outstanding payments and the department to provide the City of Columbus employees necessary documentation about their benefits as soon as possible. Do colleagues have any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you, Council President. That's all I have in my committees at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next committee to come before council is the Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee, chaired by Councilmember Remy. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Council President. First, I have two ordinances tonight in Public Safety and Criminal Justice. The first is 772 to 2025 to authorize the Director of the Office of Violence Prevention to enter into contract with the Columbus Urban League for services related to the implementation of the 2025 Neighborhood Violence Intervention Program, to authorize the expenditure of $725,000 from the general fund and to waive the competitive bidding provisions of the Columbus City Codes and to declare an emergency. I'm going to just throw it over to the director herself, and Director Rena Shack, and let her talk a little bit more about this ordinance rather than me read it.
Thank you.
Director, the floor is yours.
Thank you, President Harden, Chair Remy, members of council. If it's okay, Chair Remy, that I address both together, if that's okay. So thank you for considering the support of both the Communities for New Direction and the Columbus Urban League in the contracts on the agenda tonight. As you all know, the Office of Violence Prevention is the city's coordinating body and accountability partner of all violence reduction activities that the city either runs internally or funds externally. Our work is data-driven and evidence-based and is elevating Columbus's work in this space amongst our national peers. Over the course of the last year, one of our main focus areas was to build Columbus's first comprehensive community violence intervention ecosystem. This ecosystem consists of internal city department programs as well as nonprofits and community-based organizations, all that benefit Columbus by serving different functions in the community violence reduction space. Through these important partnerships, we've been able to harness the incredible power and passion of over 100 violence reduction professionals in our city, and have brought them all together on a regular basis to create one comprehensive group of individuals who work tirelessly through partnership with OVP and with each other to make Columbus safer and more equitable for all of us. Two of these wonderful partner organizations are the Columbus Urban League as well as the Community for New Directions. This marks the first time that these contracts will be managed by the Office of Violence Prevention and places us consistent with other OVPs across the country in managing violence intervention contracts. The funds allocated to each of these contracts will allow both partners to expand their intervention staff and widen the footprint of their important violence reduction work for our city. We are so grateful for both of their partnership, and together we are undoubtedly saving lives. Through partnership, we're absolutely safer together. OVP thanks this body for your clear support of work in the community violence reduction space and for your continued support of the Office of Violence Prevention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues this evening? All right.
Hold on, I do have a question.
Yeah, go ahead,
To the
Councilmember Beatty.
Assistant Director or Deputy Director. Can you provide, just for the sake of the audience and those watching, can you provide 4 or 5 examples of the activities or programs that the individual nonprofits engage in for this initiative?
Absolutely, council member. So for these particular contracts, we have built-in intervention staff members. So they have interventionists, both of these contracts do. We are increasing the allotted amount that they have been traditionally provided by the City of Columbus so that they can expand those intervention staff members. What those interventionists do vary. So some of them do the majority of their work in the schools. So they provide different programmings with high-risk youth in our Columbus City schools, depending on what referrals that they get. Others are addressing whole family violence risk. So a more holistic view, meaning that they're taking the entire family and they're providing referrals to outside resources, whether they be city programs like Reroute or Voice is another example through our Department of Public Health, or they're referring outside. So it's a case management and it's truly case-by-case basis on what these interventionists are able to provide, but the goal is that ultimate violence reduction through that intervention work. Community for New Directions is very heavy in the schools, while Columbus Urban League, what we have found, operates really well on the streets of Columbus. So in different areas and different sides of town where we know there to be high-risk activities, or we know that there are events that might be taking place that would lead to violence, we're able to send those interventionists through groups like Columbus Urban League to those sites to make sure that we are mitigating any retaliation or we're lessening any chance incidents of violence erupting. And so it's really on that prevention end, and then also engaging both youth and adults when it comes to those that have been identified as at risk or high risk for committing violence or being victims of violence. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage. By voice.
Clerk, please call the roll by voice.
Bangston. Barosa de Padilla. Beatty.
Yes.
Deakauer.
Yes.
Dorans.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Remy. White. President Harden.
Ordinance passed.
Next, I have ordinance 774, 2025, to authorize the Director of the Office of Violence Prevention to enter into contract with Community for New Direction Incorporation for services related to the implementation of the 2025 Neighborhood Violence Intervention Program, to authorize the expenditure of $650,000 from the general fund, to waive the competitive bidding provisions of the Columbus City Code, and to declare an emergency. The Community for New Direction Incorporation, in the amount of $650, will provide violence interruption and crisis response activities that include responding to specific violent confrontations, working to mediate and diffuse conflict tensions, and actively promote peace building among our youth. The contractor shall maintain a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week schedule to respond to calls regarding violence, confrontations such as shootings, aggravated assaults, homicides, and other violent incidents. Do any of my colleagues have any questions about this particular ordinance? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston. Barosa de Padilla. Beatty. Deakauer. Dorans. Green. Remy White. President Harden.
Passed.
And that is all I have on my committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next committee to come before council is the Public Utilities and Sustainability Committee, chaired by Councilmember Weiss. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. First, I have ordinance 246-2025 to authorize the Director of the Department of Public Utilities to enter into a service agreement with Decker Construction Company for the 2022 Utility Cut Restoration Project, to waive competitive bidding provisions of Chapter 329 of Columbus City Codes, and to authorize the expenditure of $2,450,000 split between the electricity, water, and sanitary sewer operating funds. This piece of legislation seeks to clarify the original ordinance for the 2022 Utility Cut Restoration Project, which was vague and didn't establish a clear timeline. Since the number and length of renewals allowed was not specified in the original ordinance, this ordinance will authorize a new contract that covers the 2025 operating year. Let me stop there, see if any questions or comments from my colleagues. Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston. Barosa de Padilla. Beatty. Deakauer. Dorans. Green. Remy White. President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. Next, I have ordinance 361-2025 to authorize the Director of the Department of Public Utilities to enter into a contract with JDM Services LLC, doing business as Frank Road Recycling Solutions, for a clean fill disposal site, to waive the competitive bidding provisions of Chapter 329 of Columbus City Codes, to authorize the expenditure of $165,000 split between the electricity, water, and sanitary sewer operating funds. This contract is necessary for disposing of clean fill items from repair projects with water, sewer, and power infrastructure. The Department of Public Utilities is currently in the process of completing a new bid. However, we are in need of disposal site until the new bid is in place. Let me stop there, see if you have questions or comments from my colleagues. Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston. Barosa de Padilla. Beatty. Deakauer. Dorans. Green. Remy White. President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. And last, I have ordinance 793-2025 to authorize the Director of the Department of Finance and Management to associate all general budget reservations resulting from this ordinance with the appropriate universal term contract purchase agreements for the purchase of light-duty vehicles and vehicle upfits for the Division of Sewerage and Drainage from Reichart Properties Incorporated, Ace Truck Body Incorporated, K.E. Rose Company, and or Messer Work Van Solutions, and to authorize the expenditure of $1,371,000 from the Sewerage Operating Fund, and to declare an emergency. It's important to purchase these vehicles now to get the best rate and avoid any increases due to rising costs, short ordering windows, and long lead times for equipment delivery. Let me stop there, see if any questions or comments from my colleagues. Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston. Barosa de Padilla. Beatty. Deakauer. Dorans. Green. Remy White. President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. That is all I have for my committee this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The final committee coming before council is the Housing, Homelessness, and Building Committee. I chair that committee, and the first piece of legislation I have tonight is Ordinance 0724-2025. This ordinance authorizes the appropriation of expenditures up to $1,250,000 of the Home Investment Partnership Program, or the Home ARP funds, from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. It authorizes the Director of the Department of Development to enter a commitment letter, loan agreement, promissory note, mortgage, and restrictive covenant with Knoll View Place LLC in an amount of up to $1,250,000 for the Knoll View Place project. This legislation is really special. It authorizes $1.25 million to build 50 one-bedroom units for permanent supportive housing on the Mount Street lot using former city land bank property. This project, called Knoll View Place, is on the Near East Side, and we will have 46 units to serve residents experiencing chronic homelessness and 4 units to support individuals that have severe mental illness. This is a great investment in the Near East Side and is another critical step in the city's efforts to invest in neighborhoods and provide dignified solutions for those who need our help most. Now to speak on this project's impact, I'm thrilled to invite up an amazing housing advocate that we have here tonight. She just retired from her role as the CEO of Community Housing Network, and so it was a cruel thing to have her sit through a council meeting on their first day in retirement. But welcome to council, Sam. It shows her commitment that she still came back, and Ryan Cassell from Community Housing Network to talk about this piece of legislation. I know.
Thank you, Council President Harden. I'm going to turn it over to Ryan because he actually knows way more about the project than I do, but I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Sure.
Good evening. Thank you, Council President Harden, President Pro Tem Dorans, and council members for the opportunity to be here tonight to speak to you. Again, my name is Ryan Castle. I'm the Chief Real Estate Development Officer at Community Housing Network. For those of you who don't know us, we've been in Franklin County, Columbus, since 1987. We develop and own and manage permanent supportive housing here for individuals who have mental illness or who have been homeless. We start with housing because it really fulfills a basic need. But once that need is met, people can really begin to address some of the other issues that make stability a challenge in their lives. With each resident we serve, we're also serving our community by decreasing homelessness, combating the rise of mental health issues in our community, and creating a community in which everyone, including people with disabilities, has an equitable opportunity to enjoy dignified, productive, and purposeful lives. One resident, Sincera, is a great example of this. She was undiagnosed for 30 years, became addicted to substances in terms of self-medicating. That led to not being able to be employed. She became homeless, living in her car. And in 2006, she became a resident at CHN, and that gave her a home, for one, and she was excited for that, but then it also gave her access to services. She started attending AA. She now is happy to be in our housing and still there. She has a job in the community. So it's for that type of resident that we do the work that we do. And it's extremely valuable work for us, and we appreciate the city's past commitments to Community Housing Network. We've been able to get funding from you all of $16.6 million since 2004, which has created 745 new units and preserved 412 units, all for individuals with disabilities who have been experiencing homelessness or have a mental illness. So we very much appreciate your partnership. We couldn't do this work without you, and the city is a huge leader in terms of affordable housing. So thank you. Knoll View Place, as you mentioned, is 51 bedroom apartments. I think you've covered where it's at. We anticipate it's going to cost us about $16.9 million to develop, and your funds will be leveraged with other funding to make that possible. So thank you.
Well, Ryan, just thank you so much for being here. This is a great, great project. And just to close the loop for this council, it was several years ago when there was a unhoused encampment on this land. And advocates were rightfully upset about how some of the residents there were engaged that had to move. And one of their advocacy was, why can't this land just be used to house people permanently? And because of the partnership between the Land Bank, the Department of Development, the CHN, we were able to do that and create 50 new homes for people that will be supported. Again, 46 of these will be folks who were formerly homeless, literally are unhoused, and 4 will be for folks who with severe mental illness. This is what a real partnership looks like that provides a need for our community. And so we're really grateful for it. I don't think that this would have come about without the leadership of Sam. And so she was being very modest. But I also use this as an opportunity to sneak and give her a resolution to recognize her for her more than 2 decades of leadership of this organization and all the work that you do. Would you help me celebrate Sam Schuler as well? If there's no question or comments, I'll move for passage. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bankston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorn, Screen, Remy White, President Harden.
Just joking, or passed. But the second piece of legislation is for them as well. So I apologize. I didn't get a chance to give my colleagues a chance to say anything. Let me read the next one, then I'll open it up for comments. Well, say something now, Councilmember. The next piece of legislation we have is Ordinance 0726-2025. It authorizes the appropriation and expenditure of up to $1,500,000 of Home Investment Partnership Program or the Home ARP funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. It authorizes the Director of Development to enter into a commitment letter, loan agreement, promissory note, mortgage, and restrictive covenant for Scioto Rise Place, LLC, in an amount up to $1,500,000 for the Scioto Rise Place project. Again, this legislation authorizes $1.5 million to support the development of 61 bedroom units of permanent supportive housing. This project, the Scioto Rise Place, is located on Jenkins Avenue near Marion Village. This project includes 48 units prioritized for residents experiencing chronic homelessness and 12 units that will serve individuals with serious mental health issues or mental illness or substance abuse issues and disorders. Similar to the last ordinance, this legislation is a continuation of Columbus's efforts to expand access to stable housing and supportive services in our city. Are there any questions or comments on either of these? Hearing none, move for passage. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bankston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorn, Screen, Remy White, President Harden.
Passed. Thank you so much. The next piece of legislation is Ordinance 0744-2025 to authorize the amendment of Ordinance 1564-2024, which was approved by City Council on July 5th, 2024, to reduce the funding amount of the 2023 Home Investment Partnerships Program grant funding in the amount up to $79,487, as well as authorize the expenditure in the amount up to $100,613 of 2018 Home Investment Partnership Program, or the HOME, Entitlement Grants Fund of Home Investment Partnership Program grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and to authorize the Director of the Department of Development to enter into commitment letter, loan agreement, promissory note, mortgage, restrictive covenant, and authorizes the city to act as a lender for this project with the Homes on the Hill Community Development Corporation to construct a single-family home in the amount of up to $291,317 and declare an emergency. This project utilizes $100,000 in federal funds for the Homes on the Hills project. These funds will support the construction of a 3-bedroom single-family home in Eureka Avenue in the Hilltop. The really exciting part of this project, that the home will be sold to a first-time buyer earning 80% or less of the median income of the area. We know that home prices are rising and many lower income families are being priced out of the ability to buy homes. We know homeownership is critical to building generational wealth in our community, and this project will expand homeownership opportunities for low-income families. If there are no comments or questions, I move for passage. Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
And passed. And finally, we have ordinance 0851-2025. It's to authorize the Director of Department of Neighborhoods to enter into a grant agreement with the Southside Thrive Collaborative in support of Parsons Avenue Outreach Program. It's to authorize the expenditure of funds on reasonable food and non-alcoholic beverage expenses, and to authorize an appropriation and expenditure within the Neighborhood Initiative Subfund. This legislation is part of the Parsons Avenue Outreach Program and will help fund the Southside Thrive Collaborative. Additionally, we amended this legislation to make the payment in advance so that Southside Thrive can get to work as soon as possible. For those that don't know, the city just finished our 2-week Clean and Safe Corridor Initiative blitz along Parsons Avenue to make infrastructure and safety improvements in the area. And what's exciting about that is that this legislation will institutionalize and extend this effort into a long-term investment through the Southside Thrive, ensuring this critical work continues. Southside Thrive will provide the area with dedicated staff from the community that are laser-like focused on tending to the needs of the Parsons Avenue community. So I'm really excited to see what they will do with these resources and the impact that it will have on this community. Director, do you have any additional comments on this?
We're excited to be a part of this work. One of the first communities that I toured in my role as director was the South Side, and I was able to meet with Sarah and her team, and so Neighborhoods is the perfect place for this. We're excited to get to work with them.
Well, thank you for the partnership, and we look forward to the work that Southside Thrive will do. If there are no comments or from my colleagues, I first move for passage as amended. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Passed as amended. Seeing no further business coming for council, is there a motion to adjourn? I didn't pass it, so it's amended. Is there a motion to pass as amended? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Passed. Seeing no further business now to come before council, is there a motion to adjourn? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Adjourn.
Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Can I get a motion to dispense with the reading of the journal?
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Are there any additions or corrections to the journal? Hearing none, the journal is approved. We'll now go to the zoning committee. Councilmember Dorance chairs that committee. All members serve one. And Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. As always, before we begin tonight's zoning agenda, allow me to briefly explain our rules pertaining to speaking for council on rezonings and variances. We only hear a staff presentation of ordinance that have a disapproval from recommending body, or if we have a public speaker signed up to speak against an ordinance. We permit up to 3 speakers on each side, 3 proponents, 3 opponents. We ask that those speakers limit their remarks to 3 minutes per the standard rules of the City Council. All speakers in the council variance, including city staff, area commissioners, applicants, and members of the public will be sworn in before they give testimony. Representatives of the area commission are always able to speak in an ordinance and do not need to fill out a speaker slip, but we do ask you alert city staff of your intentions to speak at this committee hearing. This evening, we do have 1 public speaker slip on 1 piece of legislation. On the advice of the City Attorney's Office, I will now swear in city staff. Please stand and raise your right hand to be sworn in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, nothing but the truth, as you shall answer under pains of penalty of perjury? If so, please say I do. I do. Thank you. Please let the record reflect that Brandon Carpenter for the Department of Building and Zoning Services has been sworn in. First, we have ordinance 0550-2025 to rezone 846-848 Seymour Avenue, being .11 plus acres located on the east side of Seymour Avenue, 148 plus feet north of East Livingston Avenue from R2F residential district to R4 residential district. Site consists of a 1 undeveloped parcel with an applicant requesting a rezoning to allow up to a 4-unit dwelling at this location. A concurrent council variance will be considered later in tonight's agenda. The proposal is approved from City Staff, Development Commission, and the Livingston Avenue Area Commission. Do my colleagues have questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Pass.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 0552-2025 to rezone 788 Seymour Avenue, being .12 plus acres located on the east side of Seymour Avenue, 106 plus feet north of Galt Street from R2F residential district to R4 residential district. Again, this one's just down the block from a previous ordinance. This site consists of a 1 undeveloped parcel, with the applicant requesting a rezoning to allow a 4-unit dwelling at this location. A concurrent council variance, again, will be considered later on tonight's agenda for this legislation. A proposal has approval from City Staff, Development Commission, and the Livingston Avenue Area Commission. Do my colleagues have questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 0554-2025 to rezone 798 Seymour Avenue, being .12 plus acres located in the northeast corner of Seymour Avenue and Galt Street from R2F residential district, R4 residential district. You heard that right. That's our 3rd project in Seymour Avenue tonight, which consists of 1 undeveloped parcel with the applicant requesting a rezoning to allow up to a 4-unit dwelling at this location. Again, another concurrent council variance will be considered later on tonight's agenda. Proposal approval from City Staff, Development Commission, and the Livingston Avenue Area Commission. Do my colleagues have any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 0824-2025 to rezone 4810 Alcar Road, being 8.12 plus acres located north side of Alcar Road from R Rural District to LM Limited Manufacturing District. Site consists of 1 undeveloped parcel and 1 parcel developed with a single-unit dwelling, with the applicant requesting a rezoning that will allow limited manufacturing and commercial uses. Proposal is approved from City Staff, Development Commission, and the Westland Area Commission. Do my colleagues have questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 0826-2025 to rezone 2512 Jackson Place, being 5.83 plus acres located 278 plus feet west of Jackson Pike and 650 feet north of Dryer Road from EQ Excavation and Quarry District to M Manufacturing District. Site consists of a portion of a 1 parcel developed with a wastewater treatment plant, with the applicant requesting the rezoning that would allow the development of a renewable gas production facility. A concurrent council variance will be considered later on tonight's agenda. The proposal is approved from City Staff, Development Commission, and the Southwest Area Commission. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 0827-2025 to rezone 6955-6999 Harlem Road, being 4.4 plus acres located on the west side of Harlem Road, 882 plus feet north of Central College Road from R Rural District to LM Limited Manufacturing District. Site consists of 1 parcel undeveloped with a single unit dwelling and 1 of a part of one undeveloped parcel with an applicant requesting a rezoning that will allow a self-storage facility. The proposal is approval from City Staff, Development Commission, and while there's no area commission in this area, the Rocky Fork Black Lake Accord Implementation Panel has also recommended approval. Any questions or comments from colleagues? Seeing none, move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Pass.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 0828-2025 to amend ordinance number 2883-2022, passed November 7th, 2022, for property located at 543 Taylor Road by repealing Section 3 and replacing with a new Section 3, modifying the parking setback commitment and the side plan of the said property within the CPD Commercial Plan Development District. Ordinance number 2883-2022, passed November 7th, 2022, rezoned this site to allow parking and limited commercial uses for the existing Ohio State CarePoint East Medical Campus. This ordinance revises parking setbacks required to provide additional surface lots for the medical office. The other sections of ordinance number 2883-2022 remain unchanged and are in effect. Proposal is approved from City Staff and the Near East Area Commission. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Pass.
Thank you. We move into the council variances portion of the agenda. First, we have ordinance 3400-2024 to grant a variance from provisions of sections 3332.037 R2F, residential district 3312.49 required parking, 3332.14 R2F area district requirements, 3332.19 fronting, 3332.25 maximum side yard required, and 3332.26 minimum side yard permitted, and 3332.27 rear yard of the Columbus City Codes for property located at 155 Hughes Street to allow a 2-unit dwelling and a single unit dwelling on one lot with reduced development standards in the R2F residential district. Site consists of one undeveloped parcel, and the requested council variance will allow a single unit dwelling and a 2-unit dwelling on one lot. A council variance is required because the current code allows a maximum of 2 dwelling units per lot. A variance is to require parking, lot area, fronting, maximum and minimum side yard, and rear yard are also included in this request. Proposal is approved from City Staff, but a disapproval from the Near East Area Commission with a 7-6 vote. Due to that disapproval, we'll now hear a staff report, starting with representatives from the Department of Building and Zoning Services, Mr. Brandon Carpenter. Floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, President Harden, Chair Dorans, members of council. The requested council variance will allow for one 2-unit dwelling and one single-unit dwelling on the same lot. Variances to required parking, lot area, fronting, maximum and minimum side yards, and rear yard have also been included in this request. A council variance is required because the R2F residential district only allows a maximum of 2 dwelling units on one lot. West of the site are single-unit dwellings in the R2F residential district. North, south, and east of the site are undeveloped parcels, all in the R2F residential district. The site is within the planning area of the Near East Area Plan, which does not have a specified land use recommendation at this location, but does contain building design recommendations for infill developments. The site is located within the boundaries of the Near East Area Commission, whose recommendation is for disapproval. Staff concurs with the applicant's analysis of the 7 practical difficulties in achieving this proposed development. The Near East Area Plan recommends that new housing construction be compatible with nearby existing homes based on design guidelines, which include but are not limited to height, massing and scale, porches, setbacks, and lot coverage. Additionally, the request is compatible with the existing multifamily development to the west of the site. Staff are supportive of the proposed development as it is consistent with the plan's design guidelines and will not introduce a new or incompatible use to the area. Therefore, the City Department's recommendation is for approval.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. Any questions for my colleagues of the department at this time? Seeing none, I'll invite the applicant's representative, Mr. Timothy Lai, to the podium for a presentation. So, Mr. Lai, when you get up here, I'm going to swear you in real quick. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, nothing but the truth, as you shall answer under pain and penalty of perjury? If so, please say I do. I do. Thank you. Floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, City Council President Harden, members of City Councils, and fellow city staff. My name is Tim Lai with Tim Lai Architects. On behalf of my clients, Joe Simmons, and a zoning variance, council variance facilitates the development of 3 affordable dwelling units on 155 Hugh Street from 2 to 3 dwelling units, which Brandon has talked about earlier. Thank you. And we have been working in good faith with the Area Commission, the Near East Area Commission, since last October. We met with them 3 times, from initial concept to on-site meeting to the General Area Commission. And one of the requests that they that was presented to our proposal, one of the requests for them, one of the requests from them is to present our proposal to the Bronzeville Civic Association, and we did. And at the meeting, we were glad to have the support of the Civic Association, and also we have the president of the Civic Association, Willis Brown, here tonight. He's going to talk a little bit about that, so I want to thank him for that. So let's see what we can do. Can you guys see the screen, actually, the slide at this point? Okay, sorry. So this is our site. Basically, we are on Hill Street in the alleyway between Winners, Long Street, and Hawthorne over there. So, so we have made several adjustments through the meetings to address the concern. So one of them is, if I can move to the next one. So one of the first one is about parking. And originally we have 1 parking on site, and they want more. So we show 2 parking there. But then they also have concern about the heights of the roof with different heights. So you can see on the left-hand side you have the 2 unit that has 2 different height, and they kind of request us to make them the same. So we kind of changed that to address their comment, and we kind of make them the same height. So, which I must say that it does look better with the taller roof there. We also, one of the concerns also is that it's very close to the alleyway, so we moved the structure back a few feet, and we created a porch and also a planting areas to kind of create a buffer, to the cars. So that's what you see, there. And then at the General Area Commission meeting, one of the concerns that they voice is the emergency access to the unit in the back of our site. So, so what we did is that we created a dedicated access, 4-foot access on the south side of the site to kind of get to the back unit, as you can see there with the dash line circle out, and they also have some concern about the fire truck, access in the alleyway. So we proactively reach out to the fire department and have them to actually review our proposal. And they said as long as there's no car parked in the alleyway, they will be fine. The access to the back unit, is perfectly okay with them, the way that we design it. So that's the fire department. So obviously one of the main question is always the parking. And so I want to show this to you to see how small this kind of tiny units is actually. They're about 500 square feet, 1 bedroom unit, and we have 3 of these on our site. And the fact of the matter is that Bronzeville is a diverse community of more than 10,000 residents that needs a variety of housing type. And some folks may need a three-car garage, but some may just need a 1-bedroom space, enjoy the convenience of the bus line, and maybe they have an e-bike to get around that actually don't need or want a car. So our proposal is a small, 500 square feet, 3 dwelling units, which is a unique housing options for those who don't necessarily want to, to own a car in the city. And these folks will enjoy the close proximity to many amenities, like the hospital, the library, the coffee shop, the museum, Franklin Park, and other businesses on East Long Street. So as our recent citywide rezoning demonstrate, creating density and affordable housing is very important and should not be prioritized by perceived needs for parking, especially on such a small scale. So in conclusion, I hope that I have demonstrated our tireless efforts to address the concern of the Area Commission, and would like to ask the council to approve our application. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lai. Any questions to the applicants represented this time?
Yes, I do have some questions.
Councilmember Bay.
Well, thank you for presenting such an innovative project that meets many needs of that particular neighborhood. But what I didn't hear was that, what is the overall intended use by the owner? Is the owner going to live on the property at all, or is this all investment rental property?
That's a great question. So my understanding is that this particular proposal is designed for an owner-occupied rental development. So the owner would be occupying one of the unit and then would rent out the two. And in that way, actually would make it affordable for them to own the property, but also be able to make the whole, the 3-unit more affordable.
So at the end of the development, the developer per se would be selling this to a third party for that purpose, or?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Councilor Bankson? Oh, okay. Councilor Beatty, any additional questions? Great. Any other questions for the applicants represented this time? Thank you, Mr. Lai. I appreciate being here. I did mention earlier we did have a public speaker's slip to sign up to speak on this ordinance. Mr. Willis Brown, who's leads up the Brownsville Neighborhood Association, one of our favorite regulars at council down here tonight. We miscommunicated with him. He had filled out a public speaker slip, but as we've talked about, in order to be able to testify on a variance, you have to be an impacted party, which generally is interpreted from our city attorney's offices as living or owning property within 125 feet of the property that's subject to the variance. So Mr. Brown has communicated to my office of his organization's support of this, but unfortunately, because he does not legally qualify as an impacted party, we're not able to have his testimony here tonight. We do thank him for being here, and I do apologize for that miscommunication. We would have preferred to get that communication to you earlier, but appreciate your engagement on this project. I did want to mention that my office has been in contact with the Near East Area Commission, which disapproved in this case. I think this is an excellent example of the applicant going through their process and adapting to that feedback. Certainly not going to speak for them, but the main, I think, opposition was concerns around the emergency access, which, as you heard from the applicant's representative, has been resolved. I think this moving through the city department's review of the hardships that exist for a lot of this size have been met. So again, want to thank everyone for their engagement here, but at this point want to go ahead and move to accept the staff report into evidence as an exhibit.
Second. Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Move to adopt the findings of staff as the findings of council.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Adopted.
And finally move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Pass.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 0551-2025 to grant a variance provisions of section 3312.49 required parking, 3332.05A area district lot with requirements, 3332.15 R4 area district requirements, and 3332.26F minimum side yard permitted the Columbus City Code to property located at 846-848 Seymour Avenue to allow reduced development standards for a 3-unit dwelling in the R4 residential district. This is a concurrent variance to one of the rezonings we heard earlier for a 3-unit dwelling with variances to reduce lot width, area, side yards, and required parking. Proposal is approved by City Staff, Area Commission, and the Livingston Avenue Area Commission. Our first move to accept the entire staff report into evidence as an exhibit.
Second. Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Thank you. Next move to adopt the findings of staff as the findings of council.
Second. Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
And finally move for passage.
Second. Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Next, we have ordinance 0553-2025 to grant a variance provisions of section 3312.49 required parking, 3332.05A area district lot with requirements, 3332.15 R4 area district requirements and of the Columbus City Codes for property located at 786, 788 Seymour Avenue to allow reduced development standards for a 3-unit dwelling in the R4 residential district. Again, there's another concurrent variance to one of the rezonings we considered earlier for a 3-unit dwelling with variances to reduce lot width, area, side yards, and required parking. Again, the request has approval from city staff and Livingston Avenue Area Commission. I first move to accept the entire staff report into evidence as an exhibit.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Next, I move to adopt the findings of staff, the findings of council.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
And finally, move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 0555-2025 to grant a variance of sections 3312.49 required parking, 3321.05B2 vision clearance, 3332.05 area district lot with requirements, and 3332.15 R4 area district requirements of the Columbus City Codes for property located at 798 Seymour Avenue to allow reduced development standards for the 3-unit dwelling in an R4 residential district. Again, another concurrent variance for a 3-unit dwelling with variances to reduce lot required parking, clear vision triangle, lot width, and lot area. Proposal is approved from city staff and the Livingston Avenue Area Commission. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I first move to accept the entire staff report into evidence as an exhibit.
Second. Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Next, I move to adopt the findings of staff as the findings of council.
Second. Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
And finally, move for passage.
Second. Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Thank you. And next, we have ordinance 0825-2025 to grant a variance provisions of section 3312.21A. Landscaping and screening, 3312.43, improved surface parking, 3321.07A, landscape in the Columbus City Codes for property located at 2512 Jackson Place to allow reduced development standards for a renewable gas production facility in the M Manufacturing District. Another concurrent variance to rezoning we considered earlier to reduce landscaping and screening and waive improved surface requirements for the proposed development. This proposal is approved from city staff and the Southwest Area Commission. I first move to accept the entire staff report into evidence as an exhibit.
Second. Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Next, I move to adopt the findings of staff as the findings of council.
Second. Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Finally, move for passage.
Second. Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
And finally, we have ordinance 0830-2025 to grant a variance provisions of section 3332.037 R2F Residential District, 3312.49 required parking, 3332.05 area district lot with requirements, 3332.14 R2F area district requirements, and 3332.25 max side yard required, and 3332.27 rear yard of the Columbus City Codes for the property located at 66 Thurman Avenue to allow the addition of a single unit dwelling to existing office building and reduce development standards in the R2F Residential District. Site consists of an office building, and the requested council variance will allow the addition of a single-unit dwelling to the existing office building with reduced development standards. The office building was approved under Ordinance 1-78 as the sole use of the property, and that variance did not provide for any allowable uses. And council variance is required for this project because adding the proposed single-unit dwelling causes conditions approved within Ordinance Number 1-78 to not be met. Variances to area lot width, side yards, rear yards, and reduce the number of parking spaces from 8 to 2 are also included as requests. The proposal is approved from city staff and the German Village Commission. I think this is the oldest variance we've ever changed from 1978. So first, I move to accept the entire staff report into evidence as an exhibit.
Second. Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Next, move to adopt the findings of staff, the findings of council.
Second. Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
And finally, move for passage.
Second. Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, De Akauer, Dorance, Green, Remy White, President Harden.
And that's all we have in tonight's zoning agenda, but happy birthday to Council President and almost birthday to Councilmember Green.
Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See no further business coming forward. The zoning committee, is there a motion to adjourn? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy White, President Harden.
Meeting is adjourned.